it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a little bit of a different video because I get asked most often around my favorite supplies, my recommendations, things that I would suggest that are good value for money and might be good if you are looking for something in particular. So I'm going to do a fairly quick rundown version of my kind of recommended, a few of my most recommended and most favorite supplies. Of course, for me, this is about value for money, and I have my own style, I guess, which won't be everybody's style, but this is just my personal opinion. And so I'm going to run through relatively quickly with card examples. They are all included so that you can get a bit of an idea of how I use them. Now, I sort of have these organized into categories, but I'm going to start off very simply with kind of sentiments. Now, really, I only have a couple here, and I have two. One is the Concord and 9th All the Birthdays stamp set. This is my utter favorite because birthday cards, happy birthday cards, are probably what I make most of. Other than that, it is the Creative Expressions Curly Greetings. Now here is the All the Birthdays. There are lots of different fonts. I love to mix and match the fonts from this one. And then along with that is the Curly Greetings. And as I said, it just provides all of those other greetings that we use sometimes as well. Now, if you've watched my channel, or even if you do not watch my channel, you will know that, of course, I use other sentiment stamps as well, but I would just suggest that these are probably my two all-time favorites. I use them the most, and I have absolutely loved using them and the range that they give me. So here are 5 cards that I created. Some are older, some are newer. And every single card that I'm showing you today, there is a video on how to create it on my channel. Now, moving along to kind of the floral stamps. If, again, you've watched my channel, you know that these Creative Expressions Woodware Craft Collection stamps, these big 3 across the top, are just my all-time favorites. There are actually more in this series, of course. I think I have maybe 5 or 6 all up. They have a low price point for such big stamps, which is amazing, and they are just absolutely stunning and gorgeous. And oh my, there are so many different ways you can use these. I have tens and tens of videos on my channel around how to use these stamps. Then down the bottom, there are a couple of mini versions of these. So I would use these when I just need an individual stamp and I don't want to do the fussy cutting. So there are so many ways that you can go ahead and use these ones as well. By the way, I will have all of these stamps linked in the order that they appear in the video, and they will all be linked down below if you are hoping to check any out. Now, I could have picked a million different cards from these. However, I just thought I would pick a little bit of a selection. And of course, here are the 3 on the left are using the large big stamps, whereas this one here and the one on the right before were just using those singular stamps. So this was a very popular card using these squiggly hand-drawn frames, and so simple, but I think so gorgeous. We are moving on to the kind of larger floral or fauna stamps, I guess. On the left is the Simon Hurley's Flower Picking Friends. I love the lily. That might be my favorite ever stamp of a flower that I have ever owned, but all of the sentiments in there are just perfect. This is an older one and I love it. In the middle is the leaf canopy, and on the right is the leaf clusters. Again, I have so many cards that I could use these with. These are particularly handy when you need a solid leaf, and again, this means that we can do so many techniques. So included in one of these techniques is where you can kind of do the look of layered stamping, but actually just use one solid stamp. It does usually involve a stamping platform, but it is a really fun technique when you just have a one layered stamp. Now, I told you I loved the lily, and I really love the lily. This one here is where I just took the lily and did some watercolor stamping. This is actually a 2-for-1 card. This one here, I did some paint swiping to create this gorgeous bright background, and I kind of love that I can either dress the lily up or just leave it really white with a few pink speckles in the middle, and I think that looks stunning. This one here was an optical illusion that we created as well, just by hand drawing some bits and pieces. Then moving on to the leaf clusters and the leaf canopy. This one here is the leaf canopy. I used the gold, white and black embossing powders. In fact, I used a black ink with a clear embossing powder for that one, but just a whole lot of different ways to use them. This one here again is the look of the layered stamping, except for we just use that bold stamp and ink it up with a couple of different colors. Then again, I did the same technique here, but I couldn't choose which one I loved more, so I added them both in just for you to take a quick sneak peek. Then I'm kind of moving on to non-floral elements, which can become focal points for my card. So just a couple of these are the Creative Expressions tortoiseshell, and then the other one is the mini wings marsh fritillary. Then another one of my most favorite birds to color is the one on the right, which is the mystic birds from Stampendous. And if you are after a slightly bigger butterfly, then that would have to be the one on the right, which is the pretty flutterby by Creative Expressions too. Now, obviously butterflies can be used for lots of occasions too, but when I feel like a butterfly might be a little bit feminine or just not quite right for the occasion, I do love a good bird stamp to pop on the front, and that's why I chose this one from Stampendous. And again, a couple of little birds, the branches, so easy to color, very, very quick. I have quite a few videos on my channel using those, but I have even more videos on my channel using particularly the two little butterflies, but more recently the bigger butterfly too. Now the smaller butterflies just give us so many options when it comes to if you want to make it an individual focal point or if you want to cluster them together and gather them up. So many different options. You'll see a lot of layering here. You'll see a lot of masking. You can just cut them out. They are easy to fussy cut because of their nice easy clean edges. So many different ways that we are able to use these gorgeous little butterflies. Now this has just been a really quick kind of overview. I wanted to not have too many stamps, not too many favorites. I think that that's almost not helpful. It's a little bit more confusing. So I tried to keep this really pared down to my absolute favorites. Now, are these all still available? I'm unsure is the answer. I think that most of these are still available. However, if they happen to be sold out or discontinued, then often you can do a Google search or look on Amazon or places like that, and you may be able to find some come up secondhand. So you might just be lucky there, but if you do not see them linked below, then it's probably because I couldn't find a link to them. I'm also wondering if it would be useful if I did one around dies and maybe some tools and things. So let me know if you would find that useful in the comment section down below. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye!